Hello, as Sean said, my name is Hale Morrell, and I came to COA in 2008 after going to Chewonki's Maine Coast semester, where I learned the importance of community and strong student-teacher relationships, and I felt that COA valued those things as well. These past 4 years, I have been studying ecology, natural history, and human history, and I was able to combine those three things in my internship with the Maine Coast Heritage Trust in my third year, where I conducted a natural resource inventory for Black Island in Frenchman Bay. And ultimately, my work is helping them write a management plan for the island. And I really loved the work. I loved the research. I loved the field work. I loved being able to explore this relatively unknown island. And I really appreciated knowing that my work ultimately benefited conservation. That was something that was really important to me. So I was extremely excited when the following spring I was talking with my advisor, John Anderson, and he happened to bring up this piece of property called the Protectorate, which our former trustee, Mr. Thomas Cox, donated to the college. And I saw this as a great opportunity for my senior project. Like a traditional naturalist or explorer, I could go out to this relatively unknown land and collect data and bring back stories. I could also improve on my surveying skills and take it one step further from my internship and write up that management plan as well. That spring, I visited the property for the first time and immediately fell in love, which is the common response to the property. It is 101 acres. It is located in Bar Harbor, Maine. And here's a map of it in relation to the Peggy Rockefeller farm. The Protectorate is the property in red, the H-shaped one. And here's an aerial image of it. It is 101 acres of pathways, ridgelines with stunning views, blueberry fields, wetlands, and waterways, including Mill Brook, which is an important piece of the Northeast Creek watershed. So as you can see, it's a very beautiful piece of property. In the spring, I planned my project. My senior project, I decided that it was going to be researching the past, the present, and the potential future of the property, and then making all of that information accessible by writing it up. In the summer, with the help of 9 field assistants who helped individually throughout the summer, I conducted a vegetation survey. And the goal of that was to really get to know the property and also to collect baseline data for future students and classes to use. In addition to while I was doing the vegetation survey, I also recorded natural history observations, such as animal species that I observed, like deer, fox, barred owl, and porcupine. And I also recorded important features in the landscape, such as a stand of trees that was not burned by the 1947 fire, which is particularly rare in that area, porcupine dens, potential vernal pools, and potential deer yards. On rainy days, I would interview locals who either grew up in the area or who knew about the area. And I also went to the Registry of Deeds, the Town Assessor's Office, and the MDI Historical Society to research the past ownership and land use on the property in the surrounding area. In the fall, I marked all of my vegetation plots so that students in the future could use them as a way to learn how to do surveys and also so that they could continue monitoring changes in the landscape over time. Since the fall, I have also been contemplating the future of the property and writing up my findings and thoughts from the summer. And my final document sharing all of this is called The Natural History of the Protectorate, and it includes hand-drawn and GIS maps, data sheets, and pictures from each of my plots, a species account of every species I encountered or saw evidence of, artwork by students that was inspired by the property, and the history of the property, the lay of the land, management suggestions, and student and class project suggestions. And I really hope that this is just one of many senior projects, class projects, or independent studies that happens out on this property. I really want other people to have a similar experience to what I had out there. COA is extremely lucky to have had Mr. Cox donate this property to us. It's an amazing educational resource, and I really look forward to hearing how students use it in the future. This senior project gave me the qualifications to work with Acadia National Park this summer, doing vegetation surveys and monitoring invasive species. and in the fall, I will be applying to graduate schools. So with that, I would like to thank you all very much, and I would love to answer any questions if you have them. Thank you.
What did you conclude would be the best use of the property for the college?
As I said, I think it's an So he asked what I think would be the best use for the property. And I think that, as I said, it's an amazing educational resource. Darren wants to live out there. And I worry that a permanent residence would interfere with students being able to use the property. So that's what I'll say. But if anyone were to live out there, we would want it to be you, Darren. If that.
Does any of it, of this property, is it tangential to the national park? What is the interface intent? Is there any interface really of this with the national park, or what do you? Anyway.
So the question is, what is the interface with the national park?
Physically as well as otherwise.
Mm-hmm. So on the eastern side, along Old Norway Drive, the park owns directly east from us for most of Old Norway Drive. So there's a direct interface between the properties. And also just with Northeast Creek, because Mill Brook is going through our property, which flows into Northeast Creek, just because of the watershed, we're also connected to Acadia National Park that way.